Hello and welcome back to my channel. We are in the car. I'm about to go run a couple of errands, but I wanted to talk to you guys about how I am doing, how I am mentally preparing for a baby. So let's go on an adventure.
Stop chasing all the city lights. Breathe me in. Go on and take your bite. Count.
So I am back from my little excursion, and I wanted to pop on here and just talk to you all about how I am feeling, preparing mentally for a baby. And I feel like, as someone who never expected to have kids, be able to have kids, because I have a really bad family history with fertility, to get pregnant in the middle of a pandemic in 2020, one of the craziest years that has ever happened, it's a bit overwhelming, or it was a bit overwhelming. So I just wanted to kind of walk through with y'all what has been going on in my brain, what happened in my brain when I found out, and how I'm feeling now. So in order to start this whole crazy thing, I found out July 19th that I was pregnant. I had a little bit of a feeling a couple of days beforehand that I was pregnant. That these were not period cramps, these were implantation cramps. And I was right. And I and my husband at that time, we had not planned on having kids in the next couple of years. We wanted to wait a couple more years. However, God had different plans and decided that why not in the middle of 2020, in the middle of a pandemic. So when I got that news, I was shocked. I was excited. I was more excited than I thought I was going to be. But I was also very intimidated and scared and terrified, because I had the dawning realization that, oh my gosh, there's going to be a little person here that I have to take care of. You know, it's not going to be about me anymore, me and my husband. It's going to be about our child. And I kind of had to mourn in that first trimester my independence. So I talked about this in a previous video of me mourning my quote unquote independence. And I did. About 2 months in, I had a really rough week where I was really depressed feeling. And my husband's like, what's wrong? And I basically told him, the realization that it's not just going to be you and me anymore has dawned, and I need to process these emotions prior to the baby getting here, because I don't want to process those emotions postpartum. So I took a week, and I did. I let myself be sad and mourn the loss of my independence, and let the fear, you know, push that fear to that limit of, oh my gosh, I'm going to be responsible for a human. Right now it's easy because he's in there, but when he comes out, because he has to, it's going to be up to me and my husband to, you know, keep him alive and raise him to be a good person. And in doing that, it was really good, because once I mourned that loss, I got over it, and it was just totally fine. First trimester was rough, and it wasn't as rough as like most people have first trimesters. I got sick like a handful of times. I was more fatigued than anything, and just constantly nauseous and constantly hungry. So trying to find that balance between the hunger, nausea, and the fatigue was interesting. Also, my brain went kaput, so writing went out the window, which did irritate me. And I just had to give myself grace and be like, hey, you're building a human and a placenta right now. You need to give yourself some grace. So I did, and my husband told me the same thing. Second trimester was like oh my gosh. Once I hit, I think 15, 16 weeks, I was like back in the saddle. I was exercising regularly. I had my energy back. My stomach wasn't huge at that point, but it wasn't small, yet it still was not big enough where I felt like I was normal. Sometimes I forgot I was pregnant. Not to the point of doing stupid stuff, like drinking or anything like that, like no. But like to the point of doing my work, getting up in the morning, being creative, writing, being able to exercise with moderation, and just be able to eat normal food again. Because I did have some pretty good aversions to foods that I normally love. And I still have a love-hate relationship with eggs, scrambled eggs. Hard-boiled eggs are totally fine, but scrambled eggs I still am not too keen on, or he's not too keen on. And that was really, really good. And I got more and more excited. And then I started to feel him move about 17 weeks. And that really changed perspective, because you realize, oh my gosh, there's something in there, and you can feel him moving, and there's like a person. And that was incredible. It was amazing. Fast forward now, tomorrow I'm 32 weeks, which means I will hit 8 months tomorrow. So I literally have 8 weeks, give or take an extra week, give or take a week before I give birth. Now, some of those old fears / concerns have come back, just because you're getting to the point of you're getting baby stuff. So my family set up a virtual shower for me. So instead of having an actual baby shower due to still being in COVID, people are just sending baby shower gifts to our house. So that's been overwhelming in a good way, because you get to get everything set up. We have the crib, we have the changing table dresser, we have the car seats, you know, we kind of have everything getting put in its place. Baby clothes, blankets, diapers, breast pump came in. Like, that's an intense one. Learning how the hell you wrap a Moby wrap, like those things are intense. But it just puts it even, you know, it makes you realize, oh, this is real. And then you realize, oh goodness, he has to come out. Like, there's only one of 2 ways he can come out. And it's gonna happen either way, like it or not, prepared or not. And I'm not that nervous about labor and delivery. I'm really curious about the process, which is completely not where I expected myself to be. I mean, I am the kid at 14 when my sister was obsessed with children and loved babies and wanted to be a teacher and had thousands of baby dolls and would watch a baby story on TLC. I would sob when I would watch it, because I was just like, I love animals and fuzzy stuff, and I had no maternal instincts if it didn't have paws or fur or hooves or anything like that. So it's been really different for me to be actually excited about seeing what he's gonna look like, who he's gonna look like, how big is he actually gonna be, how long is he actually gonna be, what's his little personality like. I know what his personality like is in the womb. It's pretty big, and he is extremely active. He's an extremely active child. The other day, I swear, he was using my side here to push off of, to like stand, and his like little head or butt or whatever it was sticking out. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like, please don't xenomorph yourself out of my stomach. We need you to stay in there for like 2 more months, please. So, very strong kicker, and mover, which is hysterical, because it's like, it's a lot, but it's fun at the same time, because you know he's in there and he's totally fine. And yeah, there's a little apprehension about, you know, the pain of labor, going into labor. What's it gonna feel like when you push? How is pushing gonna work? Is my epidural gonna work? you hope everything goes smoothly so you can have like a vaginal birth. But if things go, you know, tits up, it's like, okay, cut me open. Just make sure me and baby are safe. That's all I care about. And it's been really freeing. I have anxiety and it doesn't rule my life anymore. It used to. Like, anxiety used to really rule my life. And when I say rule my life, I mean 24/7 panic attacks, really bad. I have since decided not to be a victim of my anxiety. I have chosen to be a victor, and I am on meds, which is, again, they're safe for him. The dose I'm on, the type that I'm on is baby safe. And through this process, I have learned that I have zero control. Like, we had zero control over a pandemic coming. I had zero, you know, you had zero control over what happened to your job, zero control over the stay-at-home orders. But being pregnant in the middle of a global pandemic has really put into perspective that I like being an introvert, A, and I'm totally fine with it, and I don't miss a beat. But B, I'm not in control. And as somebody who has had anxiety in the past, it's been extremely freeing, because I've been able to see my body go through things that I never thought or expected that it ever would, and be able to handle those changes so naturally and so easily. Like, I don't want to jinx myself yet, but so far I have enjoyed pregnancy. It's not a 10 out of 10, because there are certainly days where I am dog tired and parts of the first trimester that I would just love to forget. But overall, it hasn't been as bad as I thought it would be. Like, I chalked it up to be this huge, awful thing, and it's not. It's really cool. But not having any control and understanding that my body is doing something 100% natural without my instruction. And at the end of it, it's gonna do its thing without my instruction. Like, I can push, I can breathe, but he's coming either way, has been really, really freeing. And it has calmed me down even more so. And I really want to take this mindset into this year and use it and harness it, where I know we can control certain things. I can control what I put in my body. I can control the prenatals that I take. I can control the exercise that I get. I can control a lot that happens outside of my body. However, my body is kind of happening to me right now. And as somebody who used to get really anxious about bodily changes, who has had anorexia in high school, who has body dysmorphia, I was expecting pregnancy to be really, really hard on me. And not to get too woo-woo on anybody, but I really attribute that to my faith. I'm a Christian, and I have learned these last few years of being self-employed and having to rely on myself, my husband, and just faith that we're gonna get work, we're gonna get jobs done, we're doing exactly what we were put on this earth to do, has really helped. And I'm really thankful for this pregnancy, because, like I said, I don't know if I'm gonna do it again, but we got lucky with a random hit or miss. Well, it wasn't a miss, but it was like a random hit. And I'm really thankful that I've learned a lot about myself, a lot about my body, a lot about what I can take, and how great my husband's been. I don't think you're never ready to have a baby, ever. Nobody is. You can, you know, try to be in the best financial situation. You can try to be in the best housing situation. You can try to be in the best work situation. But even with all of that, you're never ready, because it's an emotional thing. It's an emotional thing you have to adapt to. because you just have, it's basically putting somebody else before yourself, or what you and your spouse would normally do for yourself. You're not dictating the schedule on the other when he gets Earthside, you know. He will dictate your schedule, and you can try to get on as good a schedule as you can. You're going to be exhausted and have severe lack of sleep, but it's only for a season, and then they're not that little anymore. So I definitely know that I want to take everything one day at a time, and I think I'm handling it pretty well. Granted, our families are far away from us, which is a little hard with COVID. You know, they can't come down and visit for like the first month after the baby's born. A, we don't want anybody around the first month after the baby's born. And B, our parents are older and are in a higher risk category for COVID, so we don't want that. So that has been a little bit of a downer, but I was never somebody who wanted a million people in the room with me when I'm delivering. I only wanted my husband, maybe my mom, maybe. And that was a big maybe, just because I don't do well with situations like that, with a lot of people around. And I don't do well with large people. I don't do well with people in my space for longer than like a date night or a game night or something like that. I just don't do well. I need my space. I'm a very private person, even though I do YouTube. It's like, but in my daily life, it's like, I love my space. I love my time. And I want to protect the time that I have with our baby as best I can, especially during a pandemic where it's a lot. So that is how I am mentally preparing for this child. He's going to be here in 8 weeks, maybe 9. If he decides to go over, I think he's going to be a bit early. We already have some things packed in our hospital bag. My husband's like pretty much ready to go, because I have to wait on seeing how big my stomach gets before I can actually order some, you know, crazy extra large postpartum pants for, you know, coming home and everything like that. So yeah, that is how I am feeling right now. I'm feeling pretty good. Definitely a little more out of breath, definitely more fatigued coming into this second to last month of the pregnancy, but I'm still able to get work done. I'm still able to get up, and I'm really thankful for that. So I'm gonna take advantage of it, because I know once he gets here, oh my God, I'm never gonna sleep again. So I hope you found this helpful if you are going through pregnancy, whatever stage, or if you were ever wondering what somebody who, if you were somebody who's like, I am never gonna get pregnant, I'm never gonna have kids, that's gross, I hate it. That was me. Hello, I'm here, I'm fine. It's different, it's interesting, it's intense at times, but it's worth it. So from me to you guys, one love, and I'll see you in the next one.